The most open Super Bowl windows, though, if you hadn't heard, franchise tag window is now open through March the 7th. So teams all across the National Football League can start to tag their players as we get ready for NFL free agency here in the next couple of weeks. Waiting to see what the Cowboys eventually do. But this comes from NFL.com when it comes to the most open Super Bowl windows, I believe. Is that correct?
I believe so. Yes, it does. As you can tell, it is opening as we speak.
Just like these Super Bowl windows for each of these teams.
Look at that. Bucky Brooks bringing us.
Okay, all right.
So, you're in, right?
All
right, cool. So the most open Super Bowl windows in the league. Text into the truckwreck.com text line 877-881-1053. If who you think has the most open Super Bowl windows?
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't supposed to look at the list, was I?
I mean, that's fine. I don't care. What I do care about, K-State beat Baylor 75-65.
Oh, be careful around these parts.
I told y'all.
Okay.
Oh.
Apparently I got the music cut off because you're out here doing too much.
Hey. Yeah. Oh, fight, K-State Wildcats for alma mater fight. Ever fighting for the purple and the white. Faithful to our colors, we shall ever be. Fighting for a Wildcat victory. Go State. I wasn't planning on doing that, but it just kept going. So I was like,
I'm gonna let you have it.
I'm surprised I can remember all those.
Yeah,
like I was doing it to see if I could actually remember, and I'm pretty sure I said some wrong words in there. I'm certain.
I'm gonna let you have that.
That was a great way to just like give us more time to come up with names for who we thought would have the most open window. And from the truckwreck.com text line, the 254 says the Buffalo Bills. 806 says the Cowboys if they had a different quarterback. You're not slick.
All right.
From the 254, they said the Houday Bengals as well. From the 214, they said sad to say, but maybe the Niners. The number one most open Super Bowl window, Kevin Gray. The team with Patrick Mahomes.
Yep. Not about to do it.
Kansas City Chiefs.
Not about to do it.
Like, because
all right.
And you know why I feel this? And obviously I can go into, they enter every season as a world beater because of Patrick Mahomes, right? 5 years as a starter. They've made the AFC Championship game every time, right? You have all of those things. The thing that I find amazing about the Chiefs is that you're starting to see that they were like, we can take some things down and rebuild them on the fly if we need to, right? That offensive line.
Because we have the best quarterback in the sport.
That offensive line kind of got rebuilt.
Yeah.
Right? They were like, look, we can also afford to move on from some pieces that people think are super important and find a way to cobble together what we need. Tyreek Hill, they're like, dang, we don't take the gamble.
Bro.
That we're not going to pay 4 years and exorbitant money on a speed receiver.
Tyreek Hill.
Right? They were like, we're not going to bet on the speed receiver at age 31. We're going to bet on Patrick Mahomes. Looks like a good bet early. Obviously, Tyreek Hill, really good still. They were like, it'll work. And it has. Like, so very small, well, not very, but relatively small sample size on the idea that they can keep remaking themselves. But they're starting to give us a reason to believe they could keep remaking themselves. And as long as they have that dude, Patrick Mahomes, playing at some level of this, it's going to be all right. So, yes, I get it. Long and short, championship window, wide as hell.
Imagine if Tyreek Hill was still on the Chiefs. They won a Super Bowl, and Patrick Mahomes had the most total yards ever in a season without that dude.
But the tough thing about it is teams are playing them differently to the point where I wonder how much they could have utilized Tyreek Hill. Obviously, you find ways to get the ball to him, but teams had made that decision not this year, but the year before, that we're not letting you throw over top on us. And Patrick Mahomes was like, all right, we're just going.
All right, cool. I'll take what you give me.
Glee, dice you up. You know what I mean?
Jeez. Never forget, Patrick Mahomes has never played a road playoff game.
Can't win on the road. That's all I'm hearing. Can't win on the road in the playoffs.
Sound like they don't want to.
903 suggests, obviously, you get the Chiefs right. They say number 2 is the Bengals, number 3 is the Eagles, number 4 is the Bills. Well, you got number 2 in there somewhere in the wrong spot. Bucky Brooks tells you the Philadelphia Eagles have the second widest open Super Bowl window. KG, how you feel?
Oh boy, however long it is open is going to be real interesting to see after this offseason because they've got a lot of decisions to make. How much you going to pay Jalen Hurts? You're bringing back James Bradbury. Are you tagging C.J. Gardner-Johnson? There's a lot of decisions that the Eagles have to make this offseason to ensure that that window stays open. But if they do make the right ones, yeah, they've got a window open for at least 2 more years.
Pretty good team. And, of course, Howie Roseman did that work to make sure that they also had picks to go around to continue to upgrade the roster.
There is that.
So that's the thing, is like they're going to have relatively cheap labor.
Not 1, but 2 first-round picks in this year's draft.
Yep.
Jeez.
Yep. And I guess the idea remains, if Hurts continues to evolve from game manager to like bona fide playmaker with that they could just continue to be a team to beat in the NFC that we always talk about is not as strong as the AFC. This is where we get to what seems to be one of the favorite picks on the truckwreck.com text line. The third most open Super Bowl window, the Cincinnati Bengals. And if you ask Joe Burrow, he's like, look, man, our window is open my whole career. He said that back in January.
My entire career.
He's like, as long as I'm here, window open. And I don't know if I agree with that in just itself. I appreciate that level of confidence. Talk that talk, buddy. But, right, like they still have. Cincy has won 20 of his last 26 games, right? They got the quarterback. They have talented wide receivers. They're going to have to kind of eat into that somewhat because I don't think that you're going to be able to pay all the money that is due to Chase and Higgins and what's my guys, Tyler Boyd, right? Like you're going to have to, and T. Higgins is coming up relatively soon if I remember correctly, or am I bugging? But like you might have to move on from one of those at least. But they do have an opportunity to kind of do some of these things, and then also, once you get Joe Burrow on that money, right,
which is coming this offseason,
then we'll see how they're able to handle this. I'm still holding out because I don't know if they are going to be committed to spending all that money. Like, I understand they found a way to be good, and usually being good will inspire you to go and spend that money. I also know who Mike Brown is as an owner, and he's got a record.
Well, here's what you can't do if you're Mike Brown in this case. I mean, you could because it's your team. But what you can't do if you want to have the public on your side is be cheap with this team as good as they are. Like, you're going to pay the quarterback.
He spent some money, and he will pay the quarterback because that keeps money coming in. They spent money on the indoor facility that they hadn't had until like 2 years ago or a year ago, right? Like, this is the thing that's how cheap they were. In the 21st century, they were playing football without an indoor training facility, which is something that feels unheard of.
Crazy.
But yeah. All right, so the fourth most open window was referred to by a few people. It is the San Francisco 49ers, but of course the question is,
who the hell playing quarterback?
Yeah, dog. But if it's not the quarter, like at times you almost have to say, does it matter? Because now you got McCaffrey, you got Debo, you got Kittle, you got Ayuk, and I don't know how long you'll have those, but you also have Bosa, you got Warner, you got Drake Greenlaw. None of those guys are old, mind you. You know, like, you've got a whole bunch of playmakers. It's just, can you get a quarterback who's capable of giving you that?
You know what? I'm glad you brought this team up as part of the Super Bowl window being open, because I've come to the realization over the last few days that I'm tired of this argument when it comes to San Francisco, is that you can just put any old damn quarterback out there and win a Super Bowl. Clearly you can't. Then there's a reason why Kyle Shanahan felt there was a certain ceiling for Jimmy Garoppolo, because he said, I need to go get Trey Lance, who I believe the ceiling is higher for, in order for us to have a chance to win a Super Bowl. Yes, you can maybe get to a certain point with Brock Purdy, Jimmy Garoppolo, and in Garoppolo's case, you had a confluence of circumstances that had a really good defense also along with it. But it is shown and been proven in this league, you have to have, in most cases, elite quarterback play to win a Super Bowl, because the example I will always go back to in San Francisco Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs, when they needed Jimmy Garoppolo to make a throw to help them win that football game, guess who couldn't do it? Jimmy Garoppolo couldn't do it.
Yeah, but they got Brock Purdy now, so.
But okay.
You know.
So I'm off the train of, San Francisco can get to where they want to go ultimately with any old quarterback. No, they can't, because even they told you they believe they couldn't because of what they traded to go and get Trey Lance, whom they thought maybe was the future for them to reach their ultimate ceiling.
I'm interested I think you've agreed with all of these, Bucky Brooks' list.
Mm-hmm.
Here at 5, I'm interested how you feel on this. The Los Angeles Chargers is what he puts here. Obviously, there's not a shortage of talent when you talk about the quarterback, Justin Herbert, Rashawn Slater, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Joey Bosa, Austin Eckler. And they have not won a division yet.
Correct.
Because
and they just made the playoffs.
Patrick Mahomes over there, and the injury bug constantly hits them. He says with Kellen Moore taking over the offense, hopefully he can unleash Herbert, and then, they'll emerge as a heavyweight in the AFC. How you feel about that, KG?
They've got a lot to show in order to believe that there's a window open.
Like, is this off of the strength of they got Justin Herbert and he looks really good if he can put it together? Like, that's what it feels like.
Yeah, but they've paid a lot of guys. J.C. Jackson, Derwin James on defense. Keenan Allen may be a cap casualty this offseason. They still got Mike Williams there as a $20 million wide receiver. So that one's a little more flimsy to me. They got a lot of talent. The question is, can Brandon Staley coach it to get to that open window for years to come?
All right, so we've gone through 5. Notice we have not talked about the Buffalo Bills. And we still won't, because number 6 is your Dallas Cowboys. Most open Super Bowl window. All right, so they are putting you after the Los Angeles Chargers and before, spoiler alert, the Buffalo Bills as like the 6th most open Super Bowl window.
Mm-hmm.
How you feel about that?
Above Buffalo?
Yes.
Oh, boy.
But somehow below the Los Angeles Chargers.
It's tough because I have to see what happens this offseason for them, because it could be a real changing of the guard for this team. But if you believe that the offense will get better, Dak Prescott will cut down on the turnover problem, you have now established a number 1 wide receiver in CeeDee Lamb.
Absolutely.
Will you go get another one that can pair alongside him?
They've got to. It feels like they've got to.
And if you can, a defense that is really, really good with Micah Parsons, yeah, you could have that window open for a little while longer. But they've got some real decisions to make this offseason, namely in that backfield with Tony Pollard, and then whether or not they decide to make an investment for another playmaker on the outside to go along with CeeDee Lamb. If they do, I could see it. But it starts with 4, cutting down on the turnover problem.
Absolutely.
However much you want to assign blame to him when it comes to those turnovers.
And I think I'm going to say a lot of people because I can't speak for a lot of people, but it does seem like there's a contingent of folks that feel like that was a bad season, which quarterbacks have. Even great quarterbacks have, just like a down season. And that was a disappointing season. But, and this is Bucky Brooks' words, he has been a fringe top 5 quarterback during parts of his career.
That's right.
We had that conversation that it feels like there's way too small and limited parts of his career that he needs to find a way to open those stretches of really high level quarterback play up. But it seems like that's some of what you're hoping on, and some of it is, making sure that you add the playmakers, Mike McCarthy getting in there and calling a good offense.
You know what that sound like?
What does it sound like? Hopium?
A lot of hopium.
Okay.
A lot of hopium in there.
All right. I'm done with my segment now. I will conclude.
Bucky Brooks on that real hopium train right there. Who were the other 2 teams, by the way?
The other 2 teams, it's Buffalo Bills at 7, mind you. And then the Jacksonville Jaguars is the 8th most open. Wait, were you missing a team that you wanted to hear?
No, we were doing this with Jacksonville already.
Trevor Lawrence.
They did.
He's the real deal, KG.
And I guess I need to keep quiet because
him, the Calvin Ridley, and Christian Kirk,
Zay Jones, Marvin Jones,
dominate the league,
and the Jones boys out there.
That's right.
And I guess
Trevor Etienne.
Who?
Whichever one of them.
Travis.
Trevor's still in college, ain't he?
No, Travis Etienne is the one in the league.
Yeah, but who the one? It's Trevor, right?
He got a brother that plays.
He do got a brother. What's his name?
Oh wow.
I feel old as hell.
There's more than
the other one. What's his name?
Who that boy? What's his name again? I didn't know there was more than one ETN running around playing football.
Isn't there not?
Not even gonna lie to you.
Am I bugging?
You might be, because I ain't never heard of no Trevor Etienne.
Yeah, Trevor Etienne of Florida.
Oh, there is another one running around?
I thought I was losing it. I'm not going to lie. I thought I was losing it. I really did. I was like, did I just mix their names?
No.
Did I become my uncle real quick?
Apologies to Trevor Etienne. I am so sorry. Apologies. There are more than one Etienne running around in the NFL.
I was so scared, KG. You don't understand.
I see. You over there trembling in fear over there.
Evan Ingram. Do not sleep on the Jacksonville Jaguars.